full day of cooking. I'll be doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And our budget for today for a single one person is $1.25. Yes, $1.25. So in these videos, I like to remind you that if you are struggling, if you are having issues with money and you need to put food on the table, always reach out to your local food bank, your local schools, your local churches, any type of local resources. They are out there to help you. There's a number 211 that you can call, and they can help to point you in the right direction of maybe another resource that you haven't thought about in order to get that assistance. So I'm going to be including screenshots of the items that I purchased. I use Walmart usually as a guide because I know that most people have Walmarts. Everybody has different stores. Maybe you even have the items on hand and don't have to go purchase them. I actually have the items on hand. The only thing that I did not have was a full container of the 7.5 or 7.0, whatever. I didn't have the full amount of the pasta. I ended up only having about 5 ounces of the pasta, but I still went ahead and did the meals as, you know, to show you guys how to make the meals. So, I mean, just keep in mind that you'll probably have more food than I ended up making. Also, I want to know, I am not a dietitian, I am not a nutritionist, none of those things. I'm just a mom that likes to share ideas on how you can stretch your money, or if you have limited funds, how to get food on the table. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind that there are families right now that do not have any food, or they're not able to fully feed their families. So yes, these meals may not always meet the daily nutritional values, but when you're in an extreme situation, it's important just to get something on the table. So this is not a way of eating every day. I don't suggest that. What I do suggest is that you reach out, like I said, to a local resource that can assist you in getting more food and more nutrition on the table. But if you only have $1.25, I'm going to show you how to go ahead and stretch that $1.25 and make some delicious meals. And also, I'll be putting the nutritional values in the description below. And I'll also try to include screenshots of the nutritional values in the video as well. So for today's meals, what we're going to be needing is 1 Roma tomato, 1 7.05 ounce pack of pasta. Now, you can use ramen, but I use the pasta because it had more calories in it, and Walmart does sell a couple different varieties, a couple different brands of the smaller packs of pasta for about 25 to 28 cents. So keep an eye out for that. You'll also be needing 1 banana and half a dozen eggs. So based on my area at the time that I did the screenshot, it was $1.25. Sometimes it may be less, sometimes it'll be more, but it would be by cents, really. So this will be like a cook with me style video. I'll be cooking through the day and I'll be talking through the video. I won't be doing a voiceover. I don't think I had to do a voiceover. So it'll be me cooking at least in as real time as possible. So if you like videos like this, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. What I would love for you to tell me down below is, are you on a budget? Are you on a grocery budget? If you are, what are you doing to stay on that budget? What are your plans for a budget? Are you looking to cut your budget? Have you been able to cut your budget? All the things, anything to do with a grocery budget, put it down below. If you have tips to share, be sure to add that as well. So without further ado, anyway, because I will talk to you guys forever. Without further ado, let's get into the video. What's up, guys? So these are the ingredients that we'll be needing for these recipes, and I'm sure I've included a screenshot. So I don't quite have 7.5 ounces of the pasta. I actually have 5.8 ounces, but that's good enough because I'm just going to show you the recipes, and I'll be eating them on my own, and I don't actually need the amount, but I do want to show you the recipe, and I don't want to go out and purchase anything. So of course, here's the pasta, and this is what it looks like. Those pasta, the type of pasta actually looks like, let's see if I can do this one-handed. It looks like broken up spaghetti. So that's what it looks like there. That looks like broken up spaghetti, so that's that pasta. Then I have the 1 banana. I of course have a tomato, Roma tomato, and 6 eggs. So that's all we're going to be using for today. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so for this recipe, the only thing you're going to need to do is to take your banana, of course break it apart, You're just gonna smash it, and hopefully you have a more ripe banana than I have, but that's what I could find in the store. So we're gonna work with what we got. Of course, the riper the banana, of course, the sweeter the banana. And because this is a budget meal, we're not gonna add any extra vanilla or anything or any nuts. But if you do happen to have that on hand, I would suggest you go in and see what you have and go ahead and add it here. But we're gonna do a simple, basic, very budget-friendly version of these banana pancakes. If you have oatmeal, you can add it. If you have vanilla, you can add it. If you have nuts, you can add it. Whatever you have is great to throw in here. And I'm gonna go ahead and crack my eggs. 1, 2. Then you're just gonna go ahead and beat the eggs right in here. And also, if you have baking powder, you can add it, and it'll help the pancakes to fluff up a little bit more. And you can make this as chunky or as smooth as you like it. I'm just going to do a basic, quick recipe, and that shouldn't take you more than about 2 or 3 minutes to put together. So there's our mixture. I'm actually going to let it sit for about 5 minutes in the refrigerator, and that just allows me to clean up my area and to let this sit and kind of thicken up just a little bit. So we'll come back, okay? Okay, so I've taken my mixture out of the refrigerator and it's thickened up just a little. So you could have easily just added 1 egg to your bananas and then use that other egg to make scrambled eggs, because I am going to scramble 1 egg along with these pancakes. So you could have done 1 banana, 1 egg to make a thicker consistency. But I'm just going to go ahead and show you the basic recipe for the banana pancakes. And I'm just adding oil to my pan, just a little. A cool tip is, if you go to McDonald's ever so often, even to just order a cheeseburger, you can always ask them for like butter or syrup or even honey. So I have these honey packets, and I will be adding it on top because we don't have the pancake syrup, because that's not a part of our budget. But you could have easily, like I said, just went ahead and asked them for some honey or even pancake syrup. They will give it to you for free. They give you a hard time, maybe you don't need to frequent that McDonald's. So I'm going to use a measuring cup to put my pancake mixture on the stove, and I have it on a medium high heat. If you hear a chicken crowing in the background, I'm sorry. One of my neighbors has a chicken or a rooster or whatever it is that crows, I don't know. So of course these aren't perfect, but good enough. So this can make about 5 pancakes, and they're pretty good size. I'm just gonna wait for it to kind of bubble, and then I'm gonna flip it. So yeah, like I said, if you go to McDonald's for any reason, load up on those condiments, load up on some honey, load up on some butter, load up on some pancake syrup, and that way you don't have to actually purchase it, and you can add it to your budget meals. So we're just gonna let this cook, and I'll be back. So you do want to go in and check it ever so often, just make sure nothing's burning. Maybe you need to turn down your heat. I'm going to turn mine down just a little. I'm just testing them to see if maybe they're done. Once they're done, you can tell because they get kind of firm. So this one isn't quite done yet. This one actually is ready to be flipped. So as you can see, one side of my stove heats up faster than the other side. And I'm a typical mom, so that's why I use my hands a lot. You'll hear water in the background a lot because I do tend to wash my hands a lot. I'm just going to push those down just to make sure that they are cooking. And these don't take any more than about 5 minutes to cook, depending on how your stove is. So then once the other side starts to look like that, you can go ahead and take it off. I'm just gonna move these over. I'm not gonna add any more oil. I'm just gonna go ahead and add the mixture here, because this is a non-stick, so it doesn't really take much oil. So these should be ready. And while that's cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and beat my egg. So like I said, these make 5 pancakes, so you can make less pancakes by just using less egg. So if I would have used 1 egg, I probably would have gotten 3 pancakes and 2 scrambled eggs. Okay, because this is our lone pancake, this may burn. That's just how it is when I have 1 pancake meat and 1 pancake don't get along so often. Let's see if I smooth it out. Let me see if I smooth it out a little bit, if that'll help. Okay, so usually the first pancake is the worst pancake, but in this case, the last one's gonna be the headache. Okay, so this is gonna be my tasting pancake. I'm just gonna go rinse this out and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of oil. That might be too much, but that's okay. Because remember, the oil actually is gonna add to your, so it's okay to have a little more. Just want to make sure I get all of our egg out. I don't want to waste any of it. I'm just letting the heat from the stove cook this at this point. Turned off the stove. And there we have it. And I'll be back to plate this all up. Okay, so here's my eggs. Here are my pancakes. I only put 4 because I already ate the 5th one. Listen, this is real life. Now, if you save some salt and pepper packets, because they are readily available, you can go ahead and season your eggs. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to drizzle some of that honey. And all you need is 1 packet of honey. Just to sweeten that up. You could have easily added the honey inside of the pancake mixture, but we don't really want it to burn, so that's why I didn't want to add any more sugar component. And there we have it. Breakfast, 4 pancakes, 1 scrambled egg, or you could have done 3. Well, actually it would have been 5 pancakes, 1 scrambled egg, or you could have done 3 pancakes and 2 scrambled eggs. So that is breakfast. Okay, so now we're going to tackle lunch. So here I just have about a cup of water, and I'll probably add a little more. And I'm going to go ahead and salt it. I just added some of the salt from the packet from breakfast. I kept some of the salt because we don't waste food. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add half of my pasta mixture. Half of my pasta. Let's see, yeah, I need more water. So we're going to add some more water. Just stir that around. And I'm going to let this cook according to package instructions, but I'm going to give it an extra few minutes because I want this to thicken up. I actually do want to overcook the pasta in this case. And while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and start dicing up some tomatoes and beating some egg, and we'll be back. Okay, so I'm just cutting up my tomato. And the pasta's boiling. I could have boiled the whole entire thing of pasta, but because I'm doing this in between a couple things, I don't want to overcook anything, so that's why I did only half the pasta. But to save time, I would suggest that you go ahead and try to cook all the pasta and then take out some and then finish up with the overcooking of the pasta. So I'm just dicing my tomato, and I'm going to dice the whole tomato just to save time because I'm going to need it in another recipe. And there we have it. The tomatoes are all diced up. But of course, I'm not going to leave this out because we need that too. And this can actually go inside my broth bag. So here we have it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and beat 1 egg. And if you have any shells in your eggs when you're breaking them, you can easily use the other half of the eggshell and pull that out. But I don't, so I don't need to. But I want to go ahead and share that tip with you guys. So I'm just gonna go ahead and beat this and leave it off to the side while the pasta is cooking. Alright, so those are just gonna sit there and hang out. So there's the tomatoes. And I'm going to take half the tomatoes and put it in a Ziploc. Actually, I'm going to take more than half because I actually don't need that many. And you know, you could have used these tomatoes this morning in the breakfast and added it to your egg. That's probably enough. So that's a good tip as well. So that's what I'm going to need for this recipe here. And I'll probably dice these a little bit more. Okay. So my pasta's done. I let this cook for about 10 minutes. And see, there's Alexa. Alexa, dismiss. Okay, so yeah, this cooked for about 10 minutes. And as you can see, most of the water is gone out of here. So I'm just gonna let this cool for about 10 to 20 minutes, just until it is room temperature, because I'm gonna be using egg and I don't want it to curdle, and I'm gonna need the liquid that's in here. So I can put this in the refrigerator, and that's probably what I'm gonna do after it cools down a little bit more. So I'm gonna come back once this is cooled, and then we're gonna continue on with the process. All right? Okay guys, so my pasta was in the refrigerator. So it's hardened up a little bit. Well, what happens is this pasta water kind of thickens up, and the longer you keep it in there, the more it'll thicken up, and actually the longer it sits, the better. So if you can let this sit for a couple of hours, so maybe it'd be best to go ahead and boil the pasta early in the morning, but that's fine because we are on a time crunch. So here I'm just going to go ahead and dump the pasta out, and I think I'm going to go ahead and put it back in the refrigerator for a little bit longer, because even though we're under a time crunch, I want to make sure I show you guys how to do this right. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer it and go ahead and put it back in the refrigerator. It's set for about 20 minutes. I'm going to let it sit for another 20 minutes to half an hour, and I'll be back. So while the pasta is cooling down a little bit more, I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be using Complete Seasoning, and it's by Badia. And I know a lot of people have been asking me where to get this. This is everywhere. I found this in Dollar Tree. I found it in Walmart. If you don't have it in your local stores, I'm sure you can get it on Amazon. So the brand is Badia, and it's called Complete Seasoning, and it has almost everything in it. So this is really good if you don't have a lot of seasonings, or you don't have a lot of space for a lot of seasoning. It has garlic powder in it. It has onion powder, salt, and it does have MSG. So if you're weird about the MSG, you may not want to use it. But look, my family's been using MSG forever, and we're still here. And of course the tomatoes. And I've beaten 1 egg. And just for garnish, I have some green onion that I'm going to be using. This is not required. This is just for presentation. And if you have some that you need to get rid of, be sure to go ahead and grab it. But no need, because I'm not even going to put it in there. I'm just going to put it on top. And I'm going to add some Italian seasoning. Italian seasoning is amazing because it has all the dried herbs you need. It has oregano, it has thyme, rosemary, basil, and sage. And marjoram, so it has all the good stuff. So I'm going to be using that. I'm going to be using a little bit of black pepper. Like I said, if you go to the store or you go to one of those restaurants, you can always grab extra black pepper. And I have tons of these from Domino's, and I'm going to be adding them in there. And these are just the grated Parmesan, so I'll be adding this into the pancake. And that is going to be like the theme for today, apparently, pancakes. So when the pasta's done, I'll be right back. Okay? Okay, so I'm back. So this has sat in I actually put it in the freezer for about 15 more minutes. And all I'm doing is just kind of mashing it. And if you can let this sit for a couple of hours in the refrigerator, that would be perfect. But I only have limited time. And I want to make sure I get this to you guys as good as it gets. So I'm just mashing this a little bit just to kind of get different textures in here. See, it's just breaking these apart a little bit. Now, if you want to, you can put some of this in a food processor or a blender or whatever you have that can kind of mush it a little bit more. Or you could use your mixer, but then that's going to be a pain in the butt to clean, so not doing that. We're just going to go ahead and do this. We're going to mash it out as much as we can. I wonder if a potato masher can do it. Let's see. Okay, let's see if this will help. Maybe this will help. Maybe this will make this faster. Maybe, I don't know. Okay. Now see, the more you cook this, the easier it is to mash. But I don't want this to be mushy, so I didn't want to overcook it too much. So this is fine. This is fine. So some of these are broken apart, some are smaller. And all I'm going to do is go ahead and add my egg. I'm going to go ahead and add about, let's see, it's about 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. You add as much as you want. And I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of the complete seasoning. There's no need to add salt because we already salted our water, and remember, we didn't remove any of it. So my black pepper. Go ahead and put the Parmesan cheese in, and that'll also help to thicken it up. Now if you have like nutritional yeast or anything of that sort, you can add that as well. A little bit of flour, whatever, but we're not going to do that because it's the budget meal. 2 packets of that, and now our tomato. I'm just going to mix that together. And I'm actually going to let this sit in the refrigerator. That's why I wanted to get to it, because this does need to sit. It doesn't have to, but it's best for it to sit in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. If you can let it sit longer, that's perfect, but I do want this to sit, so that's why I wanted to get to it. But I did not want my eggs to curdle, and I did want to try to break up some of this without breaking up the tomatoes. So we're going to put this in the refrigerator, and we'll be back. Okay, so I took my pasta mixture out of the refrigerator, and I'm going to go ahead and put some oil on the skillet and let that heat up. Okay, so once my pan's heated up, I'm going to go ahead and start placing these. And I think I'm just going to place one in the middle, maybe. We'll see what works best. Let me just place 1 or 2, so we'll see. And if you hear noise in the background, my neighbor's kids are outside having a blast, so yeah. Alright, so you just want to flatten that out as much as you can. I'm going to try with 2 at first. And I have my stove on about medium high. And you're just going to fry these until they kind of start sticking together and they're kind of brown. And you'll kind of tell as you start playing with it a little bit. So let's just let that cook and I'll be back. So you can make these as thick as thin as you want to. The thicker they are, the longer it's going to take for them to cook and to form. So I was just checking that one, and that one's not done yet. And you can kind of tell because, see, it goes under half of it, but it doesn't go through the whole pancake. I'm going to try to flatten it out a little bit. And then I'll come back. So I just reduced my heat to medium because I want this to cook through because it has egg in it. And I want it to firm up, but I don't want it to burn. Continually checking it. See, this side is starting to cook. The middle still hasn't, and you can kind of tell because the edges will start to get brown. Alright, so let's go ahead and try to flip this one, and it may break apart. Once it breaks apart, just put it back together. So this one wasn't fully formed yet. And you can tell because it's not even fully brown. So I say on about medium heat for about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how thick. That's what you want, a nice crust. And this side of my stove just takes a little bit longer. Sometimes it's this side and sometimes it's this side, just depending. Okay, so this still needs a little bit of time because it's still breaking apart. Move it to the middle. And now the longer, like I said, the longer you let the pasta sit in the refrigerator, the more it will come together. Because I'm working on limited time, this is as much as it's going to come together. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this one because this one should be done. And it may fall apart again, which it didn't. It actually didn't. But the longer you let it sit in the refrigerator, the longer it can set up. So I'm going to move this over. Because this is a hotter part of my pan. Let me go ahead and flip it. And that one's still breaking apart, but that's okay. Because we don't strive for perfection, we strive for good enough. As long as you've tried your hardest, you're good. Go ahead and take this one off. Alright, so there's still oil in the pan, so I'm not going to add any more. And you can add more if you need to, but we're not going to do that. So I'm going to turn my heat up just a little bit. I guess I'm just going to stick to putting 2 in here so they have time and room to cook. While that's over there cooking, I'm going to go ahead and try this one that's broke apart already. Oh, that's good. That's good. And you don't need a sauce or anything because this isn't fried. But if you want a quick sauce or something to put with it, you can do that. I would say this would be good with a quick ketchup and mustard sauce. I'm sorry, quick ketchup and mayo sauce. Mix that together, or ketchup and sriracha, mix that together. That would be so good. We're just waiting for that. It's not finished yet because the edges haven't browned. I'm just going to finish up the rest of them and I'll get back. Altogether, this should make about 6 pancakes at this size. So I'll be back. Okay, guys. Here's what the pancakes look like. Yes, some of them fell apart because, like I said, I didn't keep it in the refrigerator long enough. So that's what happens. But I found a little mayo. It's about as much as a packet of mayo, and I have a packet of ketchup, and I'm just going to add a little bit. Didn't find any sriracha in my shelf. I usually have it, but looks like I need to purchase some more. And I'm not going to put a lot of ketchup in here. If you have vinegar or lemon juice, you could add it here. And maybe some chili powder. Just to make up for the lack of sriracha. That's all you need to do. So you would do equal parts of sriracha and mayo. But like I said, I don't have any, so you could easily substitute it with something else. So that's basically what the sauce looks like. And you can either drizzle it over or you could dip your pancake in. So this is what the pancakes look like. I'm going to place them on a different plate just for presentation purposes. Okay guys, so that's what that looks like plated up. And it did make about 6 pancakes. I'm sorry, I'm over here eating them because they are good. And I'm just putting the green onions on top. You could always put the green onions in. Okay, so there we have it, guys. Quick and easy. So this is like a spaghetti pasta pancake thingy. There's a name for it. Maybe a spaghetti pancake or something. Super simple and easy to make. That crust on there makes a huge difference and changes the texture. So you don't feel like you're eating pasta. You feel like you're eating something different. Really, really good. So even if you're not on this daily budget, I think this would be cool to try out. Look at all that texture. So good. So I'll be back. Okay guys, we're gonna go ahead and start doing dinner. So just put a little bit of oil. And then I'm gonna add the rest of my tomatoes. I'm also gonna add some ketchup packets. This is one that I opened earlier. I'm gonna start with 2 more. So we're gonna start with 3 ketchup packets. I'm gonna add some complete seasoning. Use whatever you have. and some Italian seasoning. If you don't have complete seasoning, I always say that you can use chicken bouillon. And it just gives a really good flavor, whatever you're cooking. I'm just going to stir this around and try to keep this through. If you had onions or whatever, or any vegetables, you could add it here, but working on a limited budget, so that's all we have. So my pasta was cooking, and I took the pasta water, and I'm just going to add it. I'm going to add actually some more water. So that's about a cup of pasta water and about half a cup of tomatoes chopped. I'm going to add another cup of water. I'm just going to let that cook down for about, I say about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to come back. Okie doke. Okay, so this has been cooking for about 5 minutes. I'm just adding more ketchup here. I'm going to let it continue to cook down, and it's on high heat. I'm going to let it continue to cook for about 2 or 3 more minutes. I'm just tasting for salt. I'm not going to put any salt, but I am going to put a little bit more of this complete seasoning. And I'm going to continue to let it cook for, like I said, maybe 2 to 5 minutes. If it needs more water, I will put that. But I'm just going to go ahead and let it try to reduce all the way down, and I'll come back. Okay, so 2 minutes has passed. You see it reduced down quite a bit. It's reduced down quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and add my pasta. And the pasta's already cooked, so we're not cooking it here, we're just heating it through. And I just turned off the stove. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add an egg here. You can add 2. Well, actually, I'm going to go ahead and add both because there's only 1 more left. So my stove is off, but the heat is going to go ahead and cook both eggs. And we'll just let it stay on the stove. Because this is a really good pan, it's going to go ahead and keep the heat. So we're just going to let it go ahead and cook until it gets to a color that I want the eggs to. We're going for like a soft egg. So we'll be back. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add the cover to let the steam finish cooking the egg because my house is kind of cold. We're in Florida. I don't know why it's cold. That'll help that to go ahead and cook even though the stove is still off. Okay, I'm just going to check it. Okay, so it's still cooking. It's been about, I say about 2 minutes. And I'm going to come back and check it again. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes. And if you want this to cook further, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the bowl, and I'll put it in the microwave just because I'm running short on time. There's a noodle in my eye. There's a noodle in my eye. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this in the microwave for a quick 30 seconds, and I'll be back. Okay. And this is just crushed red pepper. We like a lot. You don't have to add as much, but that's what I like. Comes with a lot, so you can use this packet for a couple different meals. But there we have it. And I'm going to add some Parmesan. And there we have it. And if you have parsley, you can just put it there. And I'll probably put some for just presentation. But there we have it. Dinner. And it's still hot, so it'll continue to cook. And I don't want it to overcook. So I need to take a couple of pictures, but it'll set up before I get a chance to eat it because I already got my fork ready. So give me a minute. I'm just going to add a little parsley flakes. For color, of course. And this is great if you're in a climate where it's cold. This is nice and warm and spicy. So I'm just giving you a good close-up. So now if you want your egg cooked more, a cheat way to do it, of course, like I told you guys, is just to stick it inside the microwave if the heat isn't enough to cook it, I'm sorry. And you cook it to the doneness that you like, but I like the creamy texture that this egg is going to give by the time it finishes cooking through, because it's still hot and it's still cooking through. I don't know if you can see the steam, so it's still cooking through. And yeah, so that's meal number 3 for today. Let me give it a try. All right, so let's see. Get a little bit of the egg. See, like I said, you know, the egg is gonna continue to cook, so As you can see, it already started to cook even more. And it's pretty hot, so it's cooked. So you don't have to keep it on for too long. So the egg is perfectly cooked for me, and I'm gonna try it. That's good. Gotta get another bite, sorry. So good. Oh yeah. I'll probably put some more Parmesan because I have another packet here. But yeah, guys, those were my 3 meals. This is good. I can't even talk. So these were my 3 meals for $1. Super good, super delicious. And as far as the calories go, I'm going to try to do the breakdown of the calories for you guys. I believe this came in at just under 2,000 calories for the day. But like I always say, you want to go ahead to your food pantries or any local resource in your area. And yeah, so I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Okay guys, there you have it. Those were our 3 meals for a full day of eating. So even if you're not on a budget, I think you guys should give those meals a try. Even if you're not on a budget, I think that you should always think outside of the box. And one way of staying within your budget and eating good on a budget is to just think outside of the box. And seasonings are always important. You know, I'm always go back to seasonings. So again, friends, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. I hope you like my videos just enough to subscribe, share, like, comment, and all the good things. Until the next video, guys. Bye.